can work with that. That's good. So it probably would have been on my playlist last week when I was laying in the hospital, and I'm looking at life in this whole different perspective of how things come into our experience, and then what is it that we do with it. And I realize that in that experience that I'm fully aware, and I've known this, and it's just like lessons coming back to us again, that every one of us is going through something. There's some experience that we're having in our life, and each day it's an opportunity for us to really go within and take the time to see how it is that our perspective, how it is that our consciousness, our mindfulness is paying attention to what's going on in the life this day. There is so much that I want to say today, and there's so much that was in the reading and in the message and the invocation that our practitioner Caitlin was giving us today, and actually even in the words in the song, there is so much that is happening in that. As I said, that the Science of Mind magazine is the way in which I draw my weekly topic and the monthly theme. And the theme this month, it generally is about gratitude, but it also was about leading with mindfulness. Mindfulness. And that idea that our mind is full of life, it's full of the divine presence, and that if we're leading from that place that we know the truth of who we are and what we're experiencing, then as we go through whatever the challenges are, whatever the obstacle may be, or whatever, as the theme, as the message today is, love your enemy. Whatever that perception of your enemy is, that if you're going through that with a mindfulness, then you will move through that experience and come out on the other side into a greater understanding and a greater truth. If there's anything that I want you to leave with today, so I'm going to give this to you now, and then I'll remind you again at the end, is that you are a part of the I Am. That infinite intelligence, that divine presence, that perfect, that wholeness, that is the creativity and the creator of all that is life. So you are already a divine child of the I Am. You are whole, perfect, and complete in the essence of who you are, and you are using this vehicle called the physical body in order to move through the experience of this thing that we call life, so that you have some contrast, some comparison to go with. But if you can remember, if you can come back to that mind that says that I am that which is already love. I am that which is already whole, perfect, and complete. Then we'll know that this too, whatever that we are experiencing, shall pass. As I was dealing with this gallstone, I was like, this too shall pass, but just how is that going to happen? You know? And it seemed like we had to go through a whole procedure in order for, the medical profession to move it out, because it wasn't passing. I'd had my gallbladder removed over 10 years ago, and this little stone was like hiding out, just creating its own little experience until it became, completely and totally annoying, And I'm like, okay, love your enemy. So here's my enemy, and I'm trying to love it, but I was not in a place of love. I was not in a place of comfort. I was in a place of excruciating pain. And the time that I was having to be in that place with myself in the silence and in the experience, allowed for me to have again another opportunity to just be with myself, my higher self, that divine presence that is already there. And I'm asking, it's kind of like, what is this about? What's going on? And there were moments when there was some really deep fear. There was some, I was scared, and I was like asking myself, okay, if this is what it's meant to be, and that's like, okay, life is over with. This is it. How are you with that? And I had to really go deep within myself and ask myself, am I okay with this? Is this okay? If now's the time, am I good with that? And I was absolutely in that place of serenity that I am. I'm good with this. I have lived my life, I feel, in a place of fullness. I have lived my life in that place of mindfulness, that I have gone through a lot of experiences in my life, and I have made some really dumb and stupid mistakes. And I'm good with that. I'm good with all of the choices that I made. I'm good with all of the, the mistakes and the errors and the misleading that I did, and the adventures that I did when I was going off track and just going who knows where. Always to find myself back again with that place of, here I am with myself. That idea that no matter where you go, there you are with yourself. You're the one that always shows up. You find yourself in a challenge. You find yourself, in a situation you don't want to be. And so, at least in my experience, at 19, I ran away from home, only to find there I was with myself, And the issue, the problem wasn't what I thought was my perceived enemy, because it was always back again about myself. I was always the one that showed up, no matter whether it was good times or bad times. I was the one that was at the center of it all. And I didn't always want it to be. I always wanted it to be somebody else. If they would just get their act together, I would be whole, perfect, and complete. Whether it was an employer or a partner or whoever it was, it's like, it never really was about them. So here's the lesson that I'm learning, and that the message I'm trying to draw from this idea about love your enemy. That perception of what we see out there, that's the effect of what's going on in the physical world and the consciousness of humanity spinning itself round and round, is that we are creating an effect that is the outside appearance of our conscious mind. And we react to that, and we're responding to that as if they were the cause, as if that's the problem. And it's never them or that or the outside world that is the problem. The problem is always coming back to our consciousness and our mind and our awareness. How is it that we can get back to this place of knowing the truth of who we are? When we are born into this world, we're born in, we come in as a pure, innocent little infant that is now going to be thrown into the experience of the physical world. And it's just an opportunity to have an experience. It's just an opportunity to live full out. And sometimes we choose not to. We choose to live clamped in, sheltered, and stuffed down and holding back from having a full experience of life. And I want to be very clear about this, that living a full life does not mean that you get free rein to go out there and be mean and to be obnoxious and to be rude and unkind to other people, to be hateful or to be, discriminatory or to make others wrong. Even though you may believe that you are right and that they are wrong, it's not about being right or wrong. It's about being true to yourself and allowing others the experience to be true to themselves. You don't have to buy into their behavior. You don't have to even accept their behavior. You don't have to, unless you choose to, you don't have to live with them. That's always a choice. It may be a very difficult and hard choice to make, but you have your own life, and it is about you coming to the realization of the experience of who you are, the I am that lives within you. That we have this opportunity to be even something more than we've ever imagined. In the reading today, that Reverend Ann was given us, there's a line in there that says something to the effect that it's like, we are not here to please others. And the truth of it is that you will never please everybody else. Somebody will always be upset with something you've said or something you've done or the way that you're behaving. And we go out there and we're trying to, if we go out there trying to please everyone else, and we've forgotten about ourselves, then we've missed the point. If you're wanting others to appreciate you, if you're wanting others to like you, if you're wanting others to be attracted to you, it's not about making something for them. It's about being the best that you can be for yourself. That when you come to the realization that you're good with yourself, that you're happy with yourself, that you're in love with yourself, that being of who you are, even with all of its imperfections, then others will be attracted to it. Others will be respectful to it. Others will be, wanting to be a part of that because they're seeing the truth that you are expressing as yourself, and they want to be that too. Because all of us want to be in that place of being respected. All of us want to be in that place of having kindness and generosity and love and abundance and joy and harmony. But it's not about, making that for somebody else. It's about being that within yourself. So this idea of love your enemies is first and foremost is to recognize what that means to you. It's in your perception. If you're seeing somebody as your enemy, if you're seeing something as an obstacle, if you're seeing something out there as a challenge, then it's about taking the opportunity to stop and go within and find within yourself what is that seems to be out of balance? What is it that seems to be in disharmony? What is it that seems to be uncomfortable? And then begin to move within that power and that presence that is already you, and bring that harmony into your own being, bring it into your own life. One of the things that I think that showed up yesterday in our community was the way in which all of the individuals came forth to be a part, to be engaged in community. To be able to say, I was here and I was doing something for the community because it meant something to me. It was about being present for me, and though that may sound selfish, it's that idea of in Science of Mind and the philosophy that we're teaching. It's about recognizing the truth of who you are, taking care of this self, this personality, this individual, and as I do so, then it radiates out. And it begins to, shine upon others, and the light and the truth of who I am. Remember I said in the beginning, the I am? It's reflecting the I am that I am experiencing and expressing, and as it does so, then it shines the light for others. And others begin to catch on to that, and they begin to express itself. That's the way in which we change the world. That's the way in which we bring greater joy and harmony to all of those around us, is by starting here and making sure that here in the home of the heart and the soul of who I am, that there is something growing, that there is something emerging, that there is something that is bringing forth. Our founder, Ernest Holmes, talks about this idea that life is an experience of an upward spiral. And I have this vision of the upper spiral. It's kind of like a cone, or perhaps it's like, because it's the season, it's like that perfectly shaped Christmas tree, where it's like, leading up to that star at the top. So everything in this cycle of life, is moving around, and it keeps coming back around to that same experience of joy, or it keeps coming back around to that same experience of anger. It's like you get to experience over and over again until you reach to that place and that point that's the star, the light and the infinite about who you are. And then it becomes a full, enlightened experience. And that's what we're about in this teaching. That's what we're about in this philosophy. It's about coming to that place of recognizing the divine light of who we are. And it's all in the perception. It's all in the way in which you see the experience of life. In the song about, I've seen it from both sides now. I've seen, I'm looking at the clouds, and the clouds are bringing the rain and the snow and the shade upon everybody. And the clouds aren't discriminatory. It's like, if it's going to rain, it's going to rain on everyone, regardless of whether you're feeling like you're having a great day or not, But the perception begins with you. It's all in your mind. Mindfulness. Fill your mind with ideas and thoughts of joy. Fill your mind with ideas of love and abundance and harmony. Fill your mind with all of the good that you can bring forth, and it will show up. We've been creating our beloved community here. We've been creating an energy and an atmosphere about wanting to create something more. I loved it yesterday when I showed up. I'm a fan of HGTV, all of the doing things around the home, and one of the programs that I really liked was the Property Brothers. And when I showed up, and there's a truck out here with a sign on it, and it says the Painting Brothers, and I was like, oh, I love this, So our good friends, the Joe and Beth, who are not here today, but they said, they were the ones that came forth and said, we do painting as a business. Joe and his brother, Paul, are the Painting Brothers. And they said, let's paint. And so they showed up, and they did a whole power wash of the building, and they brought in all of their equipment, and they helped provide all of what was necessary so that we could paint all of the blue trim on this building, and we washed down all of the walls, and I think it was beautiful. And I'm so pleased with the ladies that showed up in the kitchen yesterday, Sandra and Lucy and Linda, and they were they made spaghetti and garlic bread, and it was just like fabulous. It was like extraordinary. And the salads that they had, it was like, this is the way in which we build community. And, people were out, hauling rock and digging up roots and chopping down, weeds. We are bringing that light forth. And I know it doesn't change everything overnight, but it begins to create an energy that as we build that, as we bring that forth, we will begin to have even a greater sense about who we are. And it begins there. And it allows for us to, each of us, take a time to experience the presence of who we are. Jean was in the kitchen too. You moved your seat, and so I lost you there for a moment. I get comfortable if you all sit in the same seat, and then you move on me, and I have to rearrange things. But our community is coming back together. Our community is re-energizing. And I've had my own personal experience that says, whatever this year was, I know that it brought me to a new place again. It brought me to a new level of understanding. It brought me back to that place of remembering the I am who I am. So if you would, repeat after me. I am joy. I am love. I am peace. I am all that I can be. Yes, you are, and I love each and every one of you. Namaste.